Now, my co-mate and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted palm? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here we feel but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, and this our life exempt from public haunt finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison?
The melancholy Jaques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today, the young Silvius and myself did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along this wood. To the which place a poor sequestered stag, that from the hunter's aim had taken a hurt, did come to languish, and the big round tears coursed toward another down his innocent nose, in piteous chase. And thus the hairy fool much marked of the melancholy Jaques, stood on the extremest verge on the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what said Jaques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
Oh, yes, and to 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. 'Tis right, quoth he, thus the misery doth part the flux of company. Anon, a careless herd, full of the pasture, jumps along by him, and never stays to greet him. Aye, quoth Jaques, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus, most invectively, he pierceth through the body of the country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
Can it be possible that no man saw them?
I cannot hear of any that did see her. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the Rornish clown, at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh, is also missing. Hesperia, the princess gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly o'erheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. And she believes that wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail to bring again those foolish runaways. Who's there?
What? My young master? Why? What made you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Know you not, master, to some kind of men, their graces serve them but as enemies. no more do yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you.
Why? What is the matter?
O unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of your grace lives. Your brother. No, brother. Yet the son of him I was about to call his father have heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie. And you within it.
Why?
Do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam? Wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither. So you come not here.
What? Would thou go ahead and beg my food? This I must do, or know not what to do. Yet this I will not do. Do how I can, I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. And I'll do the service of a younger man in all your businesses and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, when service sweat for duty, not from need. But poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree, that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways, we will go together.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
Oh, I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find it in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and to cry like a woman, but I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore courage, good Aliena.
I pray you, bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I would rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should think that I would bear no cross if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye. Now I am in Arden. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Look you who comes here, a young man and an old in solemn talk.
Oh, that's...
That's the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewst how I do love her.
I partly guessed, for I have loved you now.
No, Corin, being old thou canst not guess, though in thy youth thou wast a true lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, well, as sure I'd think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou did then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phebe, Phebe, Phebe!
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine. We that are true lovers run into strange capers. But as in all is mortal in nature, so is nature in love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art aware of.
Nay, I shall ne'er beware of mine own wit, till I break my shins against it.
Jove, Jove, this shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine. But it grows stale with me.
I pray you, one of you question yond man. If he for gold will give us any food, I faint almost to death. Oh.
Good even. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than my own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her. But I am a shepherd to another man, and do not share the fleece that I graze. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and his bonds of feed are now on sale, and at our sheepcote now. By reason of his absence, there's nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy this flock and pasture?
That young swain you saw but here erewhile, that little cares for buying anything.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage pasture and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me, if you like, upon report. The soil, the profit, and this kind of life. I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly. Dear master, I can go no further or I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how, Adam, how, no greater heart in thee? Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it or bring it for food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at arm's end, and I will be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said. Thou lookest cheerly, and I'll be with thee quickly. Yet thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of hunger. And if there live anything in this desert, cheerly, good Adam.
Well, I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
Oh, my lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here was he merry, hearing of a song.
If he, compact of jars, grow musical, we shall have shortly discord in his spheres. Go, seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
He saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this, that your poor friends must woo your company? What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest, a motley fool, a miserable fool. Oh, as I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms, in good set terms, and yet a motley fool, a good moral fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lack-lustered eye, says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour, we ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative, and I did laugh. Sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, a worthy fool, motley's the only wear.
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool, I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have not eaten yet.
Nor shalt not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by this thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemest so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en me from the show of smooth civility. Yet I am inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touch any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force moves us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me. I pray you, I thought all things had been savage here. Let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little whilst I like a Joe go and find my food and give it food. There is an old man, who in me hath many a weary step, limbed in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good effort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They each have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then a soldier full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice in fair round belly with good cape and line, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean, slippered pantaloon with spectacles on nose, pouch on side, his youthful host, well saved, a world too wide for a shrunk shank, his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes, and whistles in his sound. The last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness, a mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome! Sit you down your venerable burthen and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Come, fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as mine eye doth his effigies witness, most truly limbed and living in thy face, be most truly welcomed hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master. Support him by the arm. Give him your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.